Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just letting all the attendees in and then we'll get started in just a moment. You should be muted on entry with your cameras turned off. I do request that we just keep it like that whilst the webinar's in session. And then if anyone does want to ask a question face-to-face, they can do, but we'll try and take most of the questions in the chat box. So yeah, if I can just request everyone keeps the cameras off and stays muted throughout the session. Fab. I'll just give it one more moment. There's quite a few coming through that I just need to admit. Whilst we're waiting, I'm going to take the opportunity to say Happy International Women's Day. So obviously, two of your speakers today are women, and I hope all the females joining are celebrating today. So just a reminder for those that I'm just letting in now, you should be muted on entry, and if you can just please keep your camera off throughout the duration. The session is recorded and we'll take questions in the chat bot and try and cover those off at the end. We have allowed for time to answer your questions, so please do feel free to put them in the chat box throughout. Also feel free to network with one another. We'll make sure we drop any of our connection links in there, or if we mention any links throughout our sessions, we'll drop those in there for you. And equally, if you want to chat and share your details with us, then you can do. So I'm just going to let final couple of people in and let's kick things off. So welcome to the start of Digital City Festival Manchester. I hope you've all got an excited lineup planned over the next few days and that a lot of you will be attending the event in person. So today's session, sorry, that's what happens when you have to admit someone and click. Today's session, we're going to be talking about how to improve your customer experience to win more sales online. So my name's Claire. I'm CEO at Trio Media, and Trio Media are a digital marketing agency. We design and build websites. We do SEO, PPC, and social media. Hand over to you, Rich, to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rich. I'm the brand marketing manager here at Reviews. At Reviews, we're a review collection platform that essentially empowers our merchants to collect feedback from their customers. We are dedicated to building better and faster tools to allow you to display more trust within your store. And
Jo, over to you.
Hi, I'm Jo Berman. I am the head of strategic marketing at PureClarity. PureClarity, we are specialists in e-commerce personalization, AI-driven e-commerce personalization, which is a plugin which enables you to offer your online customers a very personalized and relevant online shopping experience.
Thanks, guys. So you're going to be hearing from all of us today as we take you through a journey of our different recommendations and strategies about really improving your online customer experience. So let's get started and have a look at the current customer experience landscape by numbers. So just really wanted to give you some stats to make you aware of what the current landscape looks like. So companies surveyed, 46% of those stated that customer experience was their top priority over the course of the next 5 years. However, we are seeing that not as many businesses are investing in it currently. So it's great to see so many of you on here and at the forefront of really thinking about how to improve your own customer experience. When we look at the consumer side of things, 63% of people would stop buying from a business that had a bad customer experience. So that really helps to spell out. And, I think we'd all agree that we would stop buying from a business that didn't offer a good experience from us. So it's really about putting ourselves in the shoes of our customers. 80% 86%, sorry, of buyers are willing to pay more when the customer experience is good. So if you can nail it, you know, implementing some of the strategies we talk about today, the chances of improving your sales and then winning more repeat business is likely to increase. 80% of customers are more likely to buy from businesses that offer more personalized experiences. This is going to be an area that we cover a lot in today's session, is personalization and how important that is when it comes to customer experience. We've then seen that 49% of buyers have made an impulse purchase after a more personalized experience. So again, really showing how that can improve your overall revenue and bottom line when you're looking at personalization. And also, interestingly, consumers are driven by speed and how quickly they can get to information or to checkout or whatever it may be. So 39% of people prefer to use self-serve options. And so we'll explore this as well in terms of how your consumers are able to get access to information quicker without the need for a sales representative or someone like that in the buying process. So looking at it from a top level, then we start trying to understand what is it that customers really want. So broken down, we look at the ease of use and a simple user interface. So everyone wants something that's easy to navigate, easy to get to where they're going. This experience needs to be seamless across desktop and mobile, and just not overcomplicating it. And I'm going to talk you through and show you some examples of websites that are doing it really well. And we're going to look at both B2B and B2C examples. So while some of these things we've looked at here in terms of what customers want may be applicable to e-commerce, if you are in the B2B sector, don't feel like this isn't for you, because actually we're going to cover it all. So following on from that ease of use, we go to a short checkout process. You know, people want it to be a click away. They want you to be saving their details. They want to be able to access that process really easily. I'm going to talk in more detail a little bit later on, but about Amazon and how, you know, we can take influence from Amazon as the largest retailer in the world and how easy they make that checkout process. That's really what we should be striving for any businesses that are selling online. Also following on from that, you know, when we look at the ease of paying and how short that can be, most e-commerce transactions now are happening on a mobile phone, and people like to be able to obviously do that at a single click. So having Google Pay, Apple Pay is really important as part of that. We then look at having clear calls to action as well. You know, no one should come on your website and be confused about what they're looking at or what it is that they're trying to do, or should have to search around to make a transaction with you, whether that be a physical sale or whether that be a contact form or someone phoning you up. You know, it should be really simple for people to understand how to get in touch with you. We then look at reviews, and we understand the importance that we all put on that kind of social proof and credibility through gaining reviews. Obviously, reviews is Rich's area of expertise, and he will definitely dive into that in a lot more detail for you as the session goes on. But we all know we look for that. We like to see, you know, 4 or 5 star reviews on products that we're buying, when we're booking a holiday, if we're looking into investing in any type of service. So reviews are hugely important. We've then got the instant messaging and also instant response. So we're finding this as covered in the earlier statistic, that actually people want speed. They don't want a blocker. If they have a question to ask before they want to go to the next step, such as making a purchase or getting in touch with you, they want to be able to find that answer instantly. You know, do you have search functionality on your site? Do you have a chat bot or live chat? You know, it doesn't have to be automated, but actually whatever it is there then immediate response there as well? So those things are really important in terms of improving that customer experience online. And finally, we look at AI personalization. So this may be one less on the list of what a consumer would say they want from a personalization point of view, but actually we see that customers interact better when you do offer a personalized experience. So absolutely, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for you to make their lives easier, and every interaction they have with you, you understand them, you understand their needs, you know their preferences, you know what they want, and you deliver that to them. And again, Jo is the expert in the personalization space, and she's definitely going to be diving into more detail about how you can offer personalized experiences for your customers. So then when we actually start diving into customer experience, and, you know, we've spoken about customer experience online, and obviously online is a very big space. It's natural to straight away think about your website. But one thing I want to encourage you to think about is that omni-channel experience. So the customer experience should not change from one place your customers interact with you to another. So for example, a lot of businesses might now use WhatsApp for chatting with their customers, or Facebook chat. Obviously, businesses around the globe capitalizing on social media as a way to have that personal connection with your audience. But it's really important that the same level of customer experience you have for your website is followed through on all of these channels. So, you know, are you able to offer a personalized experience on social media as you are on your website? Are you able to offer an instant response through WhatsApp chat that you can through a chatbot that's on your website, for example? So really starting to think about how you connect with a person in real life and give them that real life experience, you know, going from one channel to the next. We know that people don't just interact with you on one channel before they buy with you. So we need to make sure that that customer experience is seamless throughout, and the same level of service is delivered. So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to talk in more detail about Amazon, and this is what I like to call the Amazon effect. You know, it's all too easy to just overlook the people doing it really well, because we all have our own ways of doing things. But we have to stop for a minute and go, Amazon are the largest retailer in the world. Their revenue is over £400 billion. So what are they doing and how are they getting it right? So we look at it here straight away. I can see that my experience is personalized. It says hello C at the top. It's just got my initial C. It doesn't have Claire. It knows my postcode. It's given me personalized recommendations. It's asking me to continue watching something that I got partway through, keep shopping. That's a bit of a giveaway. I was looking at some nice little bicycle desks. You know, do I want to keep shopping for this? Do I want to buy again? My whole experience is personalized. There's not another person that will go on Amazon today and see this same view of Amazon that I am seeing. So they're hyper keen on personalization, on greeting me and understanding my needs, understanding what I'm looking for, and getting the most out of capitalizing on that and generating revenue from it. So super, super good at the personalization point of view. We also know on Amazon, reviews are really key. We instantly look at the reviews. How many times is that product sold? How many products is the buyer selling? So we really look for that social proof when we're on Amazon. One of the key things that I also really like to mention a lot of the time is, you know, do you think Amazon was having a problem selling online before it introduced the one-click checkout? No, it wasn't struggling. Amazon was still making hundreds of billions of pounds, but they spotted an opportunity to make even more money by improving the customer experience and shortening the checkout process. So the fact it now knows everything about me, it saved my details. You know, when we look at that mobile screen, I've really not seen anyone else doing it like Amazon. And like I said, this is the largest retailer in the world. We should really be following suit. I can see from the product page, all I had to do was scroll down, how much it's going to cost me, when I'm going to get it. You know, I've got to order within 2 hours, 30 minutes. It's giving me that urgency, but it's telling me exactly the service I'm going to get. I will get free delivery. It will come tomorrow if you order within 2 hours and 30 minutes. This is how much it's going to cost you. If I hit that buy now button, it knows who I am, it knows my address and where I want to be delivered, and knows what card I want to be charged to. And I've purchased. I don't need to go through a add to my basket process. I don't need to go through adding in my address and my details because it knows me. So we can really, really take a lot from Amazon. You'll also notice just at the bottom of that screenshot as well, the subscribe and save option. So this is something I've started seeing them do more and more, is the opportunity to subscribe to a repeat subscription of that product. Again, as an opportunity to increase sales. So we're pulling people in, we're making the customers more loyal and more sticky through the combination of personalization, improving the opportunity to check out, improving showing reviews, and giving that social proof to a product that we want to buy. But as I mentioned earlier, it's not all about B2C or e-commerce. I want to cover every side, and particularly for us at Trio Media anyway, we work with a lot more B2B organizations than B2C. And I wanted to show you this example. So Notion, really nice, clean, fresh website. What really strikes me straight away is some of the only places they use color is on the call to action. So again, from a customer experience point of view, I've come on your website, I know what you do within a couple of very short sentences, and I know what you want me to do. You want me to try Notion for free, because that's the call to action here, and it's the call to action up here. I don't know if you can see my mouse moving, by the way, but hopefully you can see where I'm referencing. But yet really, really simple way, you know, going back to the first point, people want a simple user interface that improves their experience. They don't have to look around and go, am I in the right place? Was this what I'm looking for? What should I do next? We're literally spelling it out for people in terms of how you want them to use your site and how you want them to navigate to the point of a conversion. If we look at, again, at another e-commerce example, what I really like about this website, Allbirds, is the simplicity of it, and actually the ease at which you can navigate this site. From landing, you know, they've got a mixed audience. They've got men and they've got women. They want you to navigate into one. I've clicked into shop for women. You then have these great menus. So for running, for every day, you can start scrolling through that. Even when I click into a running shoe, I've always got the option across the top to just quickly a swipe, scroll through to a whole different category of shoe. So that user experience is really, really simple and straightforward. They've also got a great checkout process as well. I believe the site's on Shopify, and Shopify is quite good at simplifying that checkout process for you anyway. And then just having a look at another B2B example. So putting Hubspot in here, it really struck me with the Hubspot website, the line, the strap line they've got on there, just an easy to use CRM. So often we see so many businesses overcomplicate their proposition to the point where the customer doesn't understand what you do. That tagline could not sell it to me more. If I've come on your website, it's because I need a CRM. You've now told me it's easy to use. Again, I can now see exactly what you want me to do. I don't 100% approve of this call to action because it is mixed in one button, you know, start free or get a demo. We always recommend you stick to one call to action, but I still think it's really nice, you know, that is there. Although mixed, call to action throughout. You can see it on the banner. Again, you can see it up in the top menu, and that doesn't go anywhere. So really, really giving an easy way to understand exactly what I should be doing on your site. Am I in the right place? You'll also see they've got the chatbot down at the bottom. Hubspot do offer their own chatbot, so obviously they're going to use it. But again, a way to interact with people and offer more of a personalized and speedy experience. So in terms of, if I could summarize those points I've just mentioned in a few key takeaways to summarize my session so far, the first thing would be to think like your customer. You know, we're not selling to aliens or a different species. We're selling to ourselves, and often we forget about that. There's always something I like to say in terms of there's a difference of what you want to say and what customers want to hear. So it's really about putting yourself in that customer's shoes and going, well, what sites do I like to interact with? How do I use them? What do I like about them? And taking that and incorporating it into your own online experience. There's then the reminder that the customer experience spans all platforms. So making sure that when you are thinking about customer experience, everyone needs to be on board with that, from your social media team to your web team to your in-house customer service team to your field sales team, whoever it is that has a touch point with a customer, this needs to be invested in throughout. I want to stress the importance of making sure that your calls to action are really simple and really easy to find. You know, you've got that opportunity once when someone lands on your website, your page, your social media page, wherever it may be, you've got that one opportunity to engage them. Let's not make it difficult for them to even do the activity what we then want them to do on the site. So let's make that call to action really clear and prominent. You need to be prepared to invest at all levels, as previously mentioned, in order to create an exceptional customer experience. So, you know, making sure this isn't it's not going to be a tick box exercise. If I do this one thing, if we implement reviews or we implement personalization, that our customer experience is improved. You know, you really need to look at all the ways that you can do that to engage your customers and to win ahead of your competition. And then finally, really making sure your proposition's easy to understand. And so before I finish, I'm just going to give you a bonus exercise. We do this with all our clients and they find it really useful. This always goes down well on webinars and events that I talk at as well. So when it comes to how to understand your customers better and how you should position your content and how you should be messaging to your customers, what we need to do is we need to shake off what are our USPs? What do we think they are? Going back to what I said about there's a difference between what you want to say and what people want to hear. And actually, let's get into the shoes of our customers. So you may want to get key stakeholders involved in this activity, but what you want to do is you want to go through our top 20 reasons exercise. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to write down 5 reasons people buy from you. So that's not your sales pitch, it's not your marketing pitch in terms of what do we think makes us great, it's why were you actually winning business. So that could be things like we've got a great sales relationship, it could be we're the only people providing the specialism in our niche, so therefore there's not really any competition. Could be because of the quality of the products you provide. It may be that you've been endorsed by an influencer and a lot of people now want to buy into your brand. Whatever those actual things are that are driving sales, write those down. We then need the 5 reasons people don't buy from you. So are you too expensive or perceived to be too expensive compared to perceived quality? Are you in a very competitive market? Is your website experience really bad or your branding not great and it's stopping people from actually believing and investing in your brand? Get those ideas together and write them down. We then want to look at 5 reasons people come back to you. And this is different to the reasons people buy, because this is why people are going to choose to repeat purchase. So actually, have you offered great aftercare, great customer service when people have needed to be in touch with you once your service or product has been in use by them? Is the quality even better than perceived? You know, you will know these ideas, but really thinking about those. And then the 5 reasons people won't come back. So these people did initially purchase from you, but they're now choosing to not come back. So did they fall out with someone? Did a relationship break down? Was the support really bad? You know, is the quality of your product not as good as featured? And take all of this information and using this helps you actually understand what your audience need to know. And this is how you can deliver an exceptional customer experience, is to answer these challenges through your website, through your social media content, through anything you're producing and creating. Answer their challenges. You know, if the sales relationship is the reason people buy from you, are you showing your people? Are you showing your salespeople on your website? Are you putting video on your website featuring those people to put your key selling points front and center? Or are you just putting a list of, oh, well, we offer 24/7 support, or we offer, you know, we're 80% cheaper than everyone else, but actually that wasn't why people bought from you. So as soon as you start understanding these things, you understand how you can actually position your messaging in order to improve your customer experience. So I'm going to leave that one with you. I'm now going to pass over to Rich, who is going to be talking to you all about reviews, and I'm not going to take any more of his limelight.
Thanks for that, and also thanks for giving us an insight into your recent Amazon purchases. I didn't know I didn't know bicycle desks existed. So
Well, neither did I. I've not purchased one yet, but after seeing a LinkedIn post, I was like, maybe I should get one of these.
and Everest is a great film. I can't believe you've only watched half of it. You've definitely got to finish that. No, thanks. And it's great to sort of follow on from that, because, you know, a lot of those 5 points you mentioned, you know, you can answer all those by reviewing your review data, you know, seeing what customers are responding with, looking at keywords that stand out, whether it's customer service, you know, time of delivery, quality of products, you know, all those, the reasons why they're not going to be buying from you again could be sourced from review content. And, you know, we recognize that, you know, and we have tools that sort of can help you find, you know, if you're looking at huge amounts of review content, we can sort of pull out key bits of information from each and, you know, work out what's going on, especially if they're all from a negative perspective and from a positive perspective. So it's great as a tool to sort of work out those metrics. So what I'm going to start with today is really about using social proof and, you know, how to manage our reputation. Managing reputation is really important for us because we believe, you know, your reputation shouldn't just be in one location. So today I'm going to go through about social proof and, you know, how to have a good star rating across the web, not just in one location. Just looking to the next slide. So what is social proof and why does it matter? Social proof is all about leveraging your customer's voice. You know, it's we need to understand that your customer sells your products better than you do. Other customers are going to trust other customers more than they're going to say from the words that you use about describing your products. You know, and it's not just feedback you're collecting, it's an insight into your operation. It's an insight into third parties that you use, like a delivery service. You know, are they up to scratch? Are they, you know, customers having a really good experience up until the point of delivery? Are your customers having a really good experience up until they try on the garments? You know, we've gone to a digital world. You know, if COVID's taught us anything, we need to be thorough in everything that we do. So the review space is going to be amazing to sort of you know, to leverage that customer voice through social proof. So the images you see here are, you know, we believe we should be empowering our merchants to give them the tools to, you know, turn text-based review content into shareable images that you can share in places where your customers are, which is in social channels. And you need to do that fast. We've built tools and we've made free tools available like poet.so, and that takes tweets or feedback or comments and reviews in Trustpilot and other third-party solutions into a shareable image, because you can't just rely on the feedback you're receiving to, one, keep it to yourself. You should be displaying on your website, but you should be sharing in the channels, especially if you're a multi-channel merchant, in the places that, you know, it's going to be seen, and you're just extending that content. So some brands might not have a lot of review content. So using our social proof tools, you know, allows us to multiply the amount of content you have to share. And, you know, social proof is not just about the feedback that you're receiving, but it's the comments, it's the images that you're receiving with them as well, because it's almost an insight and credibility into the review content that you get. And so obviously more and more people are uploading video reviews. So for us, we're making a massive transition actually into making the reviews video first, or at least allowing the brands to make that so. Just because we feel the trust signals, you know, we know that fake reviews happen, and we know that fake content gets added all the time. So customers are having to look through that information and, you know, work out what they trust. And we've worked out that people trust video way more than text reviews. More, so much so, it's more like 75% that would prefer to see a video review on a given product or a service that they've received. So definitely consider these things. I can go through, I'm going to go through some examples a bit later to sort of say this, you know, this is how they gain trust through their merchants. So reviews is all about, improving your decision making. It goes back to the 5 points Claire shared. They're going to be the action points that you use to sort of improve your business. So reviews acts as an early warning signal, especially for bad experiences. People get caught up on when they receive a bad review into removing that content. I can tell you now in our blog, it's the highest search page is how to remove a review. And my feedback is always the same thing is, respond to this negative feedback, because customers are 5 times more likely to filter a 1-star review than they are a 5-star review. And I don't think that's to do with looking to see how poor the product is, but it's looking to see maybe how poor your service is in respect of, have they done anything about it and what was the resolve? And if you're simply responding to the negative review with the resolve that you've put forth, then it's just going to be a great opportunity to show how good your customer service is and that there's a voice on the other end. I think time and time again, people just want to make sure that you are who you say you are and you do the things above board. So treat negative reviews as a golden opportunity to, share just how amazing your service is. Reviews can also, identify key advocates. So not just influencers that you're reaching out to that that got good followings. Our review solution allows you to sort of see shoppers who have good followers. So we marry up the data to sort of share with you, who you should approach, because these are customers of yours already. And if you can create a more micro audience of your fan base and share with them and ask them to share products, then this is going to be an easier process. I've worked in retail before where we spent a lot of time and money to try and get people on board to post in inspirations. And actually, if you just scale back a little and look at more of the numbers game and work with your audience, we've seen huge gains. So, use reviews as a benchmark to sort of start that process. Reviews also allows you to create deep customer profiles. Reviews is placed in a position post-purchase. So it's a great opportunity to learn about that person if they're willing to leave feedback. Ask them the height, ask them their size. And what we've developed is a thing called review attributes. And review attributes allows you not just to share feedback about a product, but it allows you to share, the customer's attributes that, yes, this top didn't really fit, but I'm 6'2" and maybe I should have got a different size. Or I always buy these jeans and the jeans running a little bit slow, but I'm okay with that. This information is only is a lot granular, but it's helping people make an informed decision when they're purchasing a product, because they can't feel and touch and have those sensations they do when they walk into a bricks and mortar store. So we need to look at reviews and say, well, how can we leverage that customer data? How can we leverage those customers' experiences, whether that's through social proof and them uploading images about their experience, or simply them telling you how something fits with them personally. It's gone way beyond just feedback from a customer. Customer reviews, especially through products, really need to be collecting at least 2 to 3 bits of data rather than just the feedback itself. Reputation now is a huge thing I think it's safe to say that when you're shopping yourself and you're checking out, especially a brand that you've never used before, you'll check their reviews, but you will check them on more than one location, because you understand that brands pay for a service, so you feel like they're only going to show those positive reviews, and maybe a second opinion might show you the grey areas or downfalls of other brands. So for us, we give you a reputation tool which allows you to send your invites to multiple platforms, whether it be Facebook, Google, Trustpilot. We think it's very important to have a global reach or a global rating to say, this is who we are, because you got to remember, if you're not positively encouraging reviews, you're only going to receive negative reviews, because reviews are submitted based on an emotion. And if you're not encouraging those negative reviews, if you're not encouraging reviews, those ratings will be always low. So it's about working out where your customers go firstly to find out more about you. And something obviously in restaurants, you want to look at localized sort of review collectors, like TripAdvisor, and create a strategy that works for you as a brand. Because if you just focus, again, we don't encourage people just to focus with reviews.io. We definitely say use this as a tool because we allow you to sort of send those invites elsewhere. And once you've got those scores, you can then scale it back and just focus on the content through reviews.io, which will allow you to get more user-generated content. Depending on your strategy, you've always got to shift, move your own goalposts sometimes. But for us, reputation is absolute vital because customers are checking more than one location to see whether you are who you say you are. Skipped one there. So to go into some quick examples, Skiddle are a ticketing service where they sell gig tickets, and they essentially through lockdown almost didn't exist because they essentially couldn't operate, and they had to make a quick decision. They either turn off the phones or get more people on them, and reassure their customers that yes, the gig is closed and you haven't lost your money, and the other gigs are going to be sort of listed, or you can have your money back. For them, that was vital. It was always about ensuring that they succeed, because they wouldn't be there without ticket sales, but they wouldn't even exist without the customers. It was vital for them to ensure that they picked up the phones and responded to those customers. After every single one that they responded to, they sent a review invitation. And that essentially gave them the content and the customers' trust signals that they could share as soon as they were allowed to open. And their review score stayed so high. It's one of the highest scores I've ever seen on a reviews platform. And essentially what they avoided for doing, which a lot of other ticket sales like Ticketmaster just had an endless row of negative reviews that they couldn't manage, even if they were positively encouraging people to do so. So it was incredibly important for them, risk mitigation, and ensured their survival. And every bad review that we received was all about, it was more of a worry, like I don't know where my customer, whether the gig's going to happen or whether I can get my money back. And every single review they responded to with an email address and a contact number. And when people landed on the site, they could see that and they knew where to go. So they knew, they had a good experience, albeit they never got to do what they wanted to do through their services, but they still had a positive experience. We only know those experiences were positive by the ones that submitted, but you can tell by the engagement and how they managed the phones that, it was having a positive effect throughout. So I also want to now move on to reputation. With iStrap, they had a 0.4 score on product reviews based in Australia. And, for them, it was vital, to improve that. And the only way that they could do it really was coming through ourselves and collecting a review score of ourselves and also product reviews. They, within 2 weeks, had enough reviews going through that space that allowed them a score of 4.5, which increased their conversion by 23% on checkout, which for a brand of their size was absolutely huge. And it just went from strength. From that, they generated enough content that allowed them not just to improve their service, but improve their products as well. So reputation, some people have a false perception that they may need a Trustpilot account just to combat a negative review. It's not the case. Once you've got a listing, you can send invites to those pages. Some time and time again, I hear too many people feel they sign up with Trustpilot for the sheer fact there's a negative review that they've responded to. We're giving you the tools to avoid that from happening. One of my favorite examples is a company called Vaycare. Vaycare, a CBD company based in Germany. In Germany, there's a lot of bureaucracy about, what you can say about your product. For good reason, those systems are in place, but, it doesn't allow you to sort of really tell the story of your product. What Vaycare recognized is that they couldn't say much about their products, but their customers could. So it allowed their customers to educate potential customers looking to buy the products. It allowed them to share their insights, to say that it helped them sleep, that it helped with anxiety, and all the benefits they knew that was available through their products, but they were restricted with what they could say. Now, they focused on a tech stack or a strategy that allowed them to, not only just send out review invites, but reward people with loyalty, because they valued their time. They knew how valuable it was to collect that content, because that's what's going to drive, their business essentially. They obviously somehow needed to start selling, but they couldn't because they had no feedback. So by incentivizing customers with, a point system through loyalty line, it allowed them to drive that review content much faster than they could ever imagine. So that was a great example of using the correct tech stack. You've probably heard it time and time again that, each tool needs to work with each other to really benefit, what the customer is looking to achieve. So really going to look at how to implement. And if you've only ever just coming into review space, or if you have reviews already, there's a lot of things you can do. Review Booster is one of the easiest way to sort of start collecting reviews. What you do is you essentially upload all your previous orders, and you do a campaign or a mail out, which will send out to say 500, 1,000, depending on your catalog site, or depending on your customer size. And, you're looking at a sort of 10 to 20% conversion on those invites. So you can do some quick maths, and that will allow you to know where your review space is going to be. You want to be looking at multiple platforms, and you by using a tool like Reviews, it allows you to send to those multiple platforms. If you're only sort of collecting reviews in one space, or if you have good reviews in one area and bad reviews in another, you lose a lot of trust signals. So we need to make sure that those trust signals are consistent on each platform. So it's vital that you're listing on multiple places. Use tools like Social Proof. Use tools that can quickly generate more content from text reviews. There's a free platform we've made available called poet.so, and that just allows you to copy a URL from a Trustpilot review, or a reviews.io review, or a Twitter that somebody's commented about your business, and it drops it into a page where you can download an image and share that socially. It's vital that you're doing more with the content that you can get, and collect richer content, I think, is the essential part of implementing reviews. You need to be collecting more than just feedback. Collect how the shoe fits, how the jeans fit. Collect how tall this person is, because it's all going to be relatable to the product at the end of the day. It's really going to help the end shopper make an informed decision on making a purchase. And if you can give richer content, and that might even be a video. Video reviews aren't just necessarily text, people talking about the product. It's actually just a key insight and seeing how it fits into people's lives. The good example is Wave Spas. They had no idea where their spas are being positioned and placed until the review content highlighted, people are actually creating these spaces, putting them into wooden sheds, and it allowed them to adjust their content accordingly. And without that video insight, it was very hard to make those decisions. So the 5 strategy takeaways: ensure you're collecting reviews across multiple platforms, which we've covered. I can't stress it enough that having a credible score across multiple areas is key, and it ensures that you're transparent and that it's consistent across, multiple areas. Make sure you align your reviews for your future strategy. So this essentially says, if you're getting a lot of negative reviews about your fulfillment, change your fulfillment. If you're getting negative reviews about how the garments don't fit correctly, then speak to your suppliers and try and work out what's going on and remove those bad experiences, as Claire's highlighted before. Respond quickly and positively to negative reviews. This is by all and end all my strongest point and strongest takeaway, that people actually want to see your response to those negative reviews. Respond calmly as well. A lot of people are very passionate about their brands and can get emotionally involved in it. So try to see it from their perspective, and remember the next customer is going to be reading this review. So ensure that it's constructive and you're showing the customer you're moving it forward. Share reviews socially. Put your reviews, those positive feedbacks, what you're receiving, everywhere. So whether it be in your social media, in your LinkedIn profiles, just do more of that review content, because it's genuine and it's only going to put you in a good light. I would even go as far to say to share a negative review where you've clearly shown you've turned it around, and you may then follow it with a positive review afterwards. It's giving people an insight into those experiences. Ensure you're collecting user-generated content. We can see stock images, and the credibility of user-generated content is essential. Video first is going to make a lot more ground in terms of making it a bit more accessible, helping people say or inform you of their product over a video channel. Request video from those happy customers. With integrations with Klaviyo, you can send a follow-up request to those happy customers just asking for video content. Video content works with negative reviews as well. If it's about the product, they can actually send and upload a video, which doesn't need to be published, but you have that for your internal records, and you can make future decisions on future strategies going forward. That's me as reviews. I hope you enjoyed it, and if there's any questions at the end, we'll go through that as well. Back to you, Claire.
Yeah, sorry, Joe, I accidentally clicked your slides along once, but you should have control now.
Thank you. Let me just, it's okay. Can you just whiz it back a slide for me, Claire?
Yeah, I am trying. It won't let me go. Oh, there we go.
Okay, right, thank you. And thanks, Rach, that's fantastic. Yeah, I always read reviews, massive part of my decision-making process, 100%. And I slightly conscious of time, but I just want to give you a quick overview on the personalization element. Now, Claire mentioned at the beginning about Amazon. Amazon was the front leader in personalization, but over the last 5 years, personalization has come on leaps and bounds. And it's all about, when you go onto Amazon, Claire said, it's that personal, relevant experience that you get. Everything's relevant to you, the products you see, the content you see, and what, if it's AI driven, which is on Amazon, which a lot of personalization platforms are, it builds a profile, it knows everything about you. So, and that also touches on what Rich mentioned about, deep understanding that deep profile of each of your customers. So you can talk to them in that one-to-one way, which is where e-commerce personalization comes into play. As I say, it can be based on a load of different things. So what people have done before they come to your site, where they've come from, what they're doing while you're on the site, what you're looking at, what keywords you're searching for, what location they're based on. Are they based in Spain? What's the weather like there? Language, there's loads of criteria that you can profile each visitor on your site. So the personalization experience will start right from the minute they land on the site. Do you click forward a slide, please, Claire? Thank you. So look at it both sides. Pink on the left is really about what the consumers want. And then on the right with the blue is what retailers are currently doing. I'm not going to read all of these out, but because we'll be sharing these slides with you afterwards. But, the key thing is that 50% of consumers will come back to a site if they see products that they know, that the website presents products that they know that they love. People don't have the time or the inclination to go and search for stuff anymore. So if you're not presenting a relevant experience from the minute they land, you'll have an extremely high bounce rate on your site. People go elsewhere because a lot of people now are adopting personalization. And basically, at the top, it says 36% of consumers say, they want that retail person. Amazon has paved the way about what the customer expectation is now. So, if you haven't yet looked into adopting or, starting kind of some personalization on your site, some experience, now is the time really for you to stay ahead of the competition. On the right-hand side, 90% of retail marketers are using personalization, but that could be perhaps in their email. So it's dear, brackets first name. That isn't enough anymore. What retailers really need to be doing is not just keeping it solely to their email marketing, but from the minute they land on the site. The great news is that those retailers, and within PureClarity, we've done loads of market research, and those that have adopted e-commerce personalization see a huge increase in the number of repeat people coming back to their site and the amount that they spend on their site. Okay, so all in all, it's all about increasing sales. So what are the key benefits? It's really about encouraging your customers to spend more money. That's what you want to do. We don't want one-off purchases, people coming to your site for one-off purchases and never coming back. You want them to come to your site, have a great experience, but whilst they're shopping for what they're looking for, is adding other items into the basket as well. So it's all about upselling and cross-selling opportunities, increasing that average order value, all of which with that good experience will increase your loyal customer base, because people who enjoy that shopping experience are more inclined to come back once again, but also the power of, the word of mouth. They're going to refer your business to their friends and family. So it's important that, if you do implement personalization, you really need to make sure that you are standing up against your competition, because look at your competition, look at their websites, look at their e-commerce online experience. What are they doing? And the chances are that they're offering this kind of service. If you want to stand a chance of growing at the rate that you plan to, then personalization definitely should be part of your tech stack, as Rich mentioned earlier, one of the elements to adopt. Reviews is another one. One thing we do, we partner with reviews.io, is that within the product recommenders that we can show the customer reviews or the user-generated content that reviews.io use. So you really need to show your customers that you know them through offering them personalized content and product recommendations. And it's all about giving a lasting impression. It's about me going onto your website and feeling that you know me. Everything I see is personalized. As what Claire saw in Amazon, she's the only one that would get that particular screen. And it's an incomparable user experience. On to the next slide, please, Claire. So this is the one slide second to last slide you could take away from my part of this webinar. It's really about, well, what happens if you don't do it? If you just don't look to adopt any form of personalization, you will have a high bounce rate, okay? People coming onto the site, they find it hard to see things that are relevant to them. So even if you're a first-time visitors, you could give them a welcoming hello and welcome to, showing them bestsellers. There'll be certain information that the AI will know from where they've come from, time of day, weather, location, all those elements that the AI will pick up, that you can say, well, for first-time visitors coming from Spain, for example, show them X, Y, and Z. If you don't personalize, people are going to find it difficult to find what they're looking for. The chances are that they will make a one-off purchase, I've mentioned, your average order value won't grow. So you're not showing them how to complete. So if you're a retailer, a fashion retailer, how do I, what other items can I buy to complete the look that I can see on the screen? How easy is it to find those? Just, drop and add into basket, one click, add to basket. It's all about increasing the average order value. Items that are frequently bought together. Your conversion will be poor. So, on average, people that adopt e-commerce personalization will see an increase in their conversion rate of about 26%. So I guess you know, for you to do the math against your own merchant store, see what that equates to. So there's some of the stats there, but again, I'm not going to go through and read each one, just for the purposes of our time, so we get some questions at the end. On to the next slide, please, Claire. So how do you personalize? It's all about customer segmentation. It's about segmenting your customer base. So you've got your first-time visitors, but you can segment it 1,000 ways. Okay, you shouldn't be limited to how you can segment. So you segment your profiles and show them, as I said, content products that's relevant, and to them upsell and cross-sell products that you know they're going to love based on their previous behaviors, searches, and what they're looking for, what they're clicking on, what they're browsing, what they're adding to cart but not buying. What you can do with personalization as well is through the analytics is say, right, which of my customers are the most valuable to me, which segment? So it could be people that have purchased twice of a particular brand in the last 60 days. They're a really, you know, valuable customer segment. So you target them, you know, create them as a separate audience and then give them different offers. You can use pop-ups to incentivize new visitors to buy with it, you know, with an offer or promotion. So yeah, do you want to click on to the next slide there, Claire, please? So there's a number of tools within personalization that you can adopt, okay? And there are lots of providers in the market of personalization. Some of them specialize purely in personalized recommenders, so product recommenders, but usually there's a lot of providers that will give you a full mix of tools. And one of the takeaways for me, as you'll come on to see, is that don't just keep it to one particular feature use. You know, if you can use a platform, use all of their features, because together, so if you're seeing banners, products, you're seeing personalized live chat, you're seeing Autobots that are personalized to you, you're seeing emails that, you know, that's all consistent, which goes back to this omni-channel experience. Use them all together to get the maximum impact. You know, product recommenders, people expect them now. However, that coupled with other features like the banners, etc., will be a lot more powerful. So there's lots of different tools, features within each of the tools that you can use. So next slide. A couple of examples here. So one of the clients, Squires, there's two different screenshots here of what they would see. So the first one is a first-time visitor coming to the site, so they're welcoming to the brand. And then you've got the different categories, but then you've got showing them the best sellers. So this is, you know, nothing, this person has landed cold, and the AI, what it does, it starts to build up, as the person interacts with the site, it starts to build up the profile of that particular person. So when that person comes back onto the site later on, it's a welcome back, and then they're incentivizing them because they've done a previous purchase, you know, and they're starting to see, they know that when they've come back, it's winter time. So they're showing them banners about, you know, cozy, getting cozy this winter. They've known what they've bought in the past, so it's showing the products that they know that particular person. So that's a really small example of how it could work, but it's very, very powerful. And then on to the next. So next example is a shoe retailer. And the first screen shows you what a product page could look like without any personalization on. The second screen, the blue, shows you a number of features that you can incorporate on your product page. So you've got a personalized content banner at the top, you've got product recommenders, and you've got additional content banners. So it's all about, I know that particular person, what they love, and I can create campaigns to say, when a person who sits in this segment arrives at my site, show them this. So everybody will see something very different. So my 5 takeaways for you today is, if you could choose to go down the route of adopting e-commerce personalization into your store, look for a partner that will give you full transparency, okay, on the revenue that particular tool generates, okay. Make sure it's fully transparent, and that you know, what guarantees will they give you that you will get a positive return on your investment, okay. So for every £1 spent, you need to make sure you're getting at least, I don't know, £8-9 back in revenue, and that revenue is generated purely from the personalization features. So don't think it's overcomplicated because we're using the word artificial intelligence. It's not. It's very, you know, let the AI do the hard work for you. You know, that works. That's all that data manipulation and machine learning working really hard. You know, we don't have to worry about that. But to get going, just start off with a simple campaign. Perhaps create a campaign for your first-time visitors, and then do one for your returning visitors, and then build from there. So you can build it gradually. You don't have to know everything about personalization to use something like this. As I say, trust the AI. You know, the AI will know. It's interesting from us, we have a number of clients who said, actually, we think, you know, for this particular product, these particular other products go better with it. And we say, okay, A/B test. So we test the AI against what they build, the custom recommenders, and yeah, the AI wins hands down every single time. It's amazing how the AI does it, but it will show the right products at the right time in the right place. And as I mentioned, make sure you use all the features available to you, and that provides that ultimate personalized experience. So when you have the great UX, the user that Claire's spoken about, with your call to actions, you know, the navigation, coupled with great product reviews, whether they're good or bad, but they're managed good reviews on the site, then with seeing content that's relevant to that person, it is the best customer experience, and all that is going to do is ultimately drive sales. And then the last takeaway there, I have mentioned it, is use the analytics. Each personalization platform will have a fantastic analytics insights that tells you about your customers, their value, what they like, what products they're looking for. You know, all of that MI is invaluable to you. It's not something that you could do just sitting with spreadsheets at work. And believe me, I've worked in retailers where before this came out, and it's days and days and days and months of work, whereas this is all just presented to you. So use the analytics to gain that insight. Yeah, and all, you know, all used together will drive your sales. So that was my whistle stop personalization side, but you know, I'm always around if you want to ask me other questions after this, that's fine.
Thanks for that, Jo, and thank you for, sorry, I appreciate kind of time's run on a little bit. And for anyone that's still with us, obviously we are running just a few minutes over time, but I'm going to just check in if we've got any questions, and we'd be more than happy to answer them for you. So if you do have anything that you want to ask us, just make sure you put it in the chat. If you are jumping off now, just thank you so much for joining us. We will be following this session with an email where we'll send out the recording. So if you want to share it with any colleagues, you can do. You will also then get all of our contact details. So if there's any of us that you would like to speak to follow up from this, please do feel free to reach out to us. So yeah, just pop it in the chat if you've got any other questions. There's not any in there just yet. I'm just conscious of the time. You know, I see a few people have popped off. So yeah, if we don't get any questions coming through, then what we'll do is we'll call it a day there.
I can see 2 questions.
Oh, I can't see any.
One is
those out then, Rich.
Yeah, one of the questions is from Linda, and it reads, what if you're new and don't have reviews yet? It's actually one of my favorite questions, and it's not planted. But you really just want to focus on company reviews, especially if you're a merchant selling products. Just focus on company, get your rating going, ensure that it's a positive score, and keep encouraging that, and keep your invitation as low as possible. Conversion is your key. So you want to have a simple invitation where it's a few words. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your purchase. Firstly, thank you for your time. Please, it means massive to us. We're a startup. Tell them a story. How can we improve our service? And they'll rate you positively. You then want to have a strategy. So set your bar to about 50 reviews. And then focus on products, product data. You also want to set up a thing called Flow. It's not available for all review collectors. We have it built in. You can build it in with Klaviyo Flow, but you essentially can send follow-ups requests. Everyone knows your inbox gets full, so you can send an invitation request. You can send a follow-up a week later. With a slightly different message saying, hey, we would really, really appreciate it this time. And if not, maybe if you have a loyalty program at this point, which you might not, then, you know, encourage that as well. You know, the example from Vey is that they had no reviews at all, and they really needed a big boost. You also have a thing called a review booster, which you can send out, a huge amount of invites to past customers. So if you haven't collected reviews from them before, and you still have their details, you can upload it to a review booster, send them out. Kick Push, an Australian brand, they needed seller ratings, which you need more than 100 reviews in a given year. And they achieved seller ratings within the first 2 days. And they had star ratings next to their ads within, 4 days. So that made a massive difference to the whole process. So if you don't have reviews, there's so many little things you can do. But if you're a small company, main focus, stay to company reviews, and then strategize it, put a plan in place, when to shift, when to collect more data.
Great. I am just, I've seen a couple of comments come through. Thank you to those who've just kind of made a comment thanking us. But also, yes, the session will be available online later. So we'll be sharing that round with you all. And yeah, thank you for those joining. Rich, was there any other questions? I'm not sure if
Yes, can you use personalization when you're selling training courses?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So personalization isn't purely for retailers of, say, fashion retailers, etc., or product retailers. You can use there's so many elements of personalization. So basically the AI will gather information about what people are looking for within the training courses, and you can show them content, you can show them pop-ups, e-commerce chat. There's lots of different features, but you can also show, if you like this course, you may also be interested in. So it's all about attributing. Look at each of your courses as a product. So it works exactly the same. The only difference will be, and I can take this offline with you, is just in terms of the order, and have to have a look at your order, how it goes through the cart, through the checkout, and how we attribute that value back to the personalization element. But if you want to reach out to me directly, I am more than happy to do a review of your site for you and just let you know how that could work.
Fab, thanks for that. So I think given the time, it's best that we call it a day there. So just once again, thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you to Joe and Rich for great presentations. And yeah, hope you all enjoy the rest of Digital City Festival in Manchester. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.